Today we're checking in once again with an item that I made a video about a couple of days ago because things have gotten even crazier since then, and now I think it is more important than ever, and even more important back then when I made that previous video, to hopefully give you guys my updated thoughts and opinions, and hopefully give many of you a warning of what I think is some very, very clear red flags and some very, very clear dangers ahead in the market regarding this one item, and maybe how we can use this to maybe save some people some money in the long run. Hopefully, again, I want to share my thoughts and opinions with you guys. I want to hopefully add some value to your lives or to your investing journeys, or maybe I'm an idiot, maybe I'm wrong about everything. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. We're going to find out over the next couple of weeks, months, and years, but that's what we're going to be talking about in this video today, all about the Copenhagen 2024 viewer pass. But of course, first, let me real quick just say, if you are looking to sell any of your CS2 items and turn them into cold hard cash or crypto or any other payment method you are looking for, definitely hit me up over on Twitter. It's going to be the first link in the description below. I am getting back full swing into cash trading. I'm talking to a bunch of different people right now. I've gotten some trades done over the past couple days. I'm really, really excited that the peer-to-peer marketplaces are back, that trading seems like it is back. The market didn't crash. It's not the end of the world. So I am back to buying in full force, and I'm back to, getting some deals done. And again, by selling to me, you're helping support me, my channel, and my content, which I would appreciate a ton, but you're also getting a safe, efficient, and effective cash out where you don't have to worry about anything weird going down or getting scammed or any, shady stuff like that. So with that being said, let's get right into this. This is the Copenhagen Viewer Pass. And again, right here, you will see this item commemorates the PGL Copenhagen 2024 CS2 Major Championship. It's a sealed pass, which obviously you can open, you can activate, meaning that these are consumable items. That is a good thing as an investment. Again, if you have a consumable item, something like a case, something like a sticker capsule, something like an unapplied sticker that once it gets applied, it is no longer existing in its previous state before, that is a good thing for investment, because that means that quantity, once it is capped, once you cannot access it anymore, once you cannot purchase or create any new ones of those, the supply will reach a limit and it will only go down or stay the same, but most likely will be going down over time. Every time somebody opens up or activates or whatever to one of these Copenhagen viewer passes, that number of unopened or unactivated viewer passes is going down. That is a good thing. That is a good sign for this as an investment. There's so many things out there that are not consumable. That doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad investment, but again, it's not a bad thing for an investment to be consumable. It's actually a very, very good thing. So once this pass is unsealed, it will provide you with the Copenhagen 2024 coin, tracking your progress throughout the event. And again, that event is now over. So you're getting the coin, but you're not having your progress tracked out the event. The event's over. You're not going to be upgrading that coin either. You're going to have the bronze Copenhagen coin. Full access to the Copenhagen 2024 Pick'em Challenge. That's done. You're not getting that. Steam.tv chat flares, coin challenges, and unlimited graffiti opportunities in-game for the duration of the event. Again, the event is over. Upgrade your Copenhagen 2024 coin by completing coin challenges. Earn a souvenir token every time you upgrade your coin. 50% of the proceeds from the sale of this pass support the participating organizations. So, at the end of the day, when you buy this Copenhagen viewer pass, you are getting an asset that might go up in price in the future. Speculative, whatever, speculative. Or you are getting an item that can be activated that will pretty much just get you the Copenhagen coin. And it's going to get you the bronze Copenhagen coin. And the thing about these coins is that over the last couple events, they have pretty much looked the same. The Copenhagen coin is not uniquely desirable. It is not uniquely interesting. It does not uniquely look cool. It actually looks relatively uninteresting, relatively uninspired. So really, at the end of the day, the only value you are getting from this Copenhagen pass is that coin. You are not getting anything else. Now, in the past, you've been able to get the viewer pass plus the 3 souvenir tokens, and even though they're supposed to expire or be, not be able to be redeemed past some certain date, in CSGO, you actually could still redeem them past that certain date. So the viewer pass plus tokens actually retained some intrinsic value because some of those souvenir packages, stuff like recently with Dust 2 packages that had gone up a bunch over time, as they were going up, those souvenir tokens that were actually still redeemable could go up in value as well. But now, as far as I am concerned, or as far as I have seen, I saw some videos about this, but this was months and months and months ago. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like souvenir tokens are no longer redeemable once that date passes, meaning that the souvenir pass plus 3 souvenir tokens now really has no more value than the viewer pass. So now we are more uniquely looking at the viewer pass, but again, this thing shouldn't have a ton of value. It is an interesting collector's item. It is a consumable item that the quantities are going to go down over time. But really, as an item itself, it doesn't really have anything that interesting. Yes, there's always going to be collectors. There's always going to want to be people that want to own every item or want to own every viewer pass or want to complete their collection or whatever. And yes, this is the very first ever CS2 major, which right now doesn't really matter that much because we're kind of living in the moment, but people are seeing and speculating that, hey, maybe 5, maybe 10, maybe 15 years from now, that first CS2 major is going to be a big deal. I know a ton of people see, hey, the first X, Y, and Z in CSGO was such a big deal. Maybe the first X, Y, and Z in CS2 is going to be such a big deal in the future as well. Now, I would be careful a little bit about that. Yes, that could be the case, but we don't know. Also, things are so different right now. The player base is bigger, the investor base is bigger, content creation, social media, everything is bigger now at the start of CS2 than it was in CSGO. So I think there's going to be a lot more people trying to get in on the first X, Y, or Z of CS2 than there was on people trying to get in on the first X, Y, Z of CSGO. And there's just less opportunity if that is the case. And there's also was less opportunity back then for people to even do that because, again, there was less players. There was less people watching the esport. Now there's so much more. But, of course, what happened with this Copenhagen Viewer Pass is that we expected it to be on sale longer than it was. The Paris, the last couple of Viewer Passes has been on sale longer, but with Copenhagen, they cut the Viewer Pass sales short. So now that left us with this kind of supply shock of people thinking that they would have time to buy the Viewer Pass, and then all of a sudden they couldn't anymore, and prices have absolutely skyrocketed. Again, this thing was selling for around $10. And once Valve cut off the sale of them, it jumped up to 25. And 25 was ridiculous. You know, this thing went 2.5x in price overnight. And again, it was an item that really shouldn't have much value. And it was already at these crazy price of $25. And I made the video talking about, man, this thing's jumping. It's at 25, it's at 30, it's at $35 or whatever. But again, you can see here over the past couple of days, those prices have not stopped. This thing has not slowed down. We're up to $57.58 with this Copenhagen Viewer Pass. And I'm telling you guys now more than ever. Back then, I was like, hey, you know, maybe, I don't know. I think you kind of missed the boat. You know, if you didn't buy it $10, you know, if you did buy it $10, congrats. You got a nice little gain. If you didn't buy it $10, it's probably too late to buy now. It doesn't really make sense. This thing really shouldn't go up in value too much. Really, the only reason that people think it could go up in value is because there's not very many of them out there and that it could go up in value. And this starts to get in this really, really speculative, bubbly asset type feel. And that is something to be very, very careful of. People aren't investing in this because they think it's a cool item, because it's an item that's in high demand, that it's desirable, whatever. We can look back and see that with the past viewer passes, they're not very desirable. They're not very liquid. They are almost never traded. They're almost never bought. They're almost never sold. Yes, they do generally go up over time, but it's very slowly, and it's not on very much trading, and it's not on very much demand. And this is leading me to a concept called the greater fool theory that I think you guys need to know about, and that I think is a very, very cautionary tale that applies very much so to this Copenhagen Viewer Pass mania that we are seeing right now. Now, the greater fool theory isn't investing, this is according to Google, whatever, but this is a good idea. AI overview, apparently. The greater fool theory is an investing concept that suggests that investors can make money by buying assets that are overvalued and selling them later for a higher price. The theory is based on the idea that asset prices sometimes rise due to speculation and hype, and that investors may be able to purchase an asset and sell it later to a greater fool at a higher price. Again, this means that just because something is overpriced does not mean that it can't keep going up. Again, when I said this thing was overpriced at $25 or $30 or $35, that doesn't mean I'm wrong because it continues to go up. That just means that there is so much hype and speculation and craziness surrounding this because everyone's talking about it. You know, I've seen so many posts on Reddit and Twitter and Discords of people being like, oh, did you see the Copenhagen Viewer Pass is going up? Oh, did you see they cut the Copenhagen Viewer Pass sales short now? You know, this thing's going to spike and go to the moon and blah, 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 blah. Getting some of that like crypto mania or that meme coin mania or whatever, or with different items we see in CS. Now, I will also say at the end of the day, not everything in the CS markets or any market in the world has to make sense. So that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily 100% right, or that just because this doesn't make sense that the price can't stay up, or it can't stay up for a long time, or it can't continue to grow. I just mean that you should be very, very careful, because I think the true value of a Copenhagen Viewer Pass, especially right now today, is much less than $57.58. I think it's actually a lot closer to $10. Now, if you told me you think the true value of this thing is $15 or $20 or $25, I can maybe get on board for that. I could see that the value of it is much closer to that. But once you start trying to tell me that this thing is worth $57 or that it's a profitable investment at $57, because that doesn't even mean it's worth $57. That means you think it's worth more than $57. And that means you think it's worth a percentage more than $57 that you are happy getting a return of, because most people aren't happy getting a 1% return or a 2 or a 5 or a 10% return. Most people are going for 10, 15, 20, 25, 50, 100% return. So you're telling me this Copenhagen Viewer Pass, if you're buying it at $57, is worth $60, $65, $70, $75, $100? What? I mean, we can go back and look at the very first ever Viewer Pass from CSGO, the Cato 2019 Viewer Pass. This thing, hey, it's $65. And hey, if you look at the graph, this has actually been a decent investment. People have made some money off this thing. It has generally gone up over time. This is a good looking graph, but this is 5 years, more than 5 years after this thing came out, and it is just now hitting $65. And you can see a year after this thing came out, it was around $20. Yes, $17 a year after it came out. 2 years after it came out, this thing was around $38. And you're telling me that one single month after the Copenhagen Viewer Pass comes out, that it's worth $60 right now and that it's continued to grow in the future? I really don't believe that. Again, investors may think that assets are overvalued based on fundamentals or long-term performance, but still expect to make a profit because another investor will be willing to pay more. The theory is considered risky because it involves investing in a bubbling asset or assets in a bubbling market. For an example, an investor buys an asset that is rising in price because of market enthusiasm and not because of its fundamentals. They risk becoming the greater fool themselves. So that is what I would caution you guys. Be careful becoming the greater fool. Be careful becoming the bag holder of the Copenhagen Viewer Pass. I think there's absolutely no argument, and I haven't seen an argument from anyone out there that would say the Copenhagen Viewer Pass right now deserves to be close to $60, or that it's a profitable investment at $60, or that this makes any sense. That doesn't mean it can't keep going up. That doesn't mean it won't keep going up. But it does mean months, 6 months, a year, 2 years from now, whatever, I would be shocked if this thing is still holding strong at $60 or more than $60. And again, I would not be surprised at all if this thing goes back down to 30, 25, 20, or even below dollars, because I do think that at least currently, present day, that is what the current value of it is probably much closer to. Now, obviously, investments are forward-looking, so you have to factor that in, whatever, but I think there's too much hype, too much mania, too much speculation, and I think a perfect case of the greater fool theory going on right now with the Copenhagen 2024 Viewer Pass. So be careful and don't be the fool at the end holding the bag. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Hopefully catch you in the next one. Until then, peace.